All right, everybody. Hey, Eric here again, and today I want to talk about the things that you must have, the 3 tools you must have if you're a landlord. Been doing this a long time, so absolute must have, and they're not the things you think they are. Hey, real quick, if you can, please subscribe, like, share. This is cool stuff. Again, if you're a landlord, I'm hoping this brings somebody some value. All right, so a little bit of background. I have been a landlord for close to 20 years. I have had long-term rentals. I have had short-term rentals. I have had AirBNBs, VRBOs, and I've always managed them myself. Whether that's right, wrong, or just stupid, I do it because, you got to know. Otherwise, when you hire somebody else to take care of it for you, you don't know if you're getting, some people are getting straight with you. So important to know. So if you are intent on becoming a landlord, an Airbnb, short-term rental, whatever landlord, all 3 of these tools will be useful for you. They have saved me so many times. And especially if you're doing short-term, it's super important because you're going to need these things to turn the property fast, because in a lot of cases you have somebody coming in immediately and you don't have time to wait on somebody to show up and do these kind of repairs. So I want to highlight, none of these are sponsoring me. None of them are, paid whatevers or reviews. These are just really the most 3 useful tools that I have ever had as being a landlord, and I would die without them. And I think you'll see why once we start talking about them. All right, the first one here is a tiny, and it could be a Milwaukee. I like Milwaukee just because they seem to last forever, but this small Sawzall tool. First of all, Sawzalls in general are usable, or they're great to have, but this little tool, I can't tell you how many times somebody has had to go cut a lock off, or I had to go cut out a hole in drywall, or cut a quick pipe and cap it off because it had froze and burst. And this tool is small. It can get into tight spaces, like that frozen pipe I was telling you about. You just cut out the drywall, cut the pipe, cap it, you're done. You can have people in there. Of course, you have to complete the repair and stuff like that. But this little tool has saved me in so many tight spaces where I've had an emergency and had to go cut things out. So it'll cut wood, drywall, metal, pipes, PVC, like all of that stuff. So you can get in there, do a quick repair, save yourself some money. Even if you're going to bring in a contractor to finish the job, you can get things tightened up and just kind of in a stable place. So if you have to, you can keep renters in there or bring people through while the rest of it is making it look pretty and all that good stuff. So I would highly recommend this tool. A full-size one is too much of a pain. It's hard to get into places. Again, I can't tell you how many plumbing issues I've had, rotted wood stuff, quick cuts, doors, locks, hinges. I mean, you name it. Even doors that settle, just a quick and just kind of, this tool has been a lifesaver. And this is probably the 3rd most important tool that I've ever bought, and I'm thankful I do, and I'm thankful I have it on standby. So the links for all this stuff, mostly off of Amazon or like Home Depot, things like that, are in the input below. But if you're going to be a landlord, that's the 3rd most important item I think that anybody can have is that piece. All right, the next item is something a little more off the cusp of what you think. What do you think it is? So basically, this is a blower. If you've ever had a leak, and if you've been doing the landlord thing long enough, you will have a leak, whether it's from snow, water, a pipe bursting, a drain bursting, somebody spilling something, somebody leaving a sink on that overflows. You will have water. And everybody knows the second that you have water, it's big damage. You've got to get that thing dried out as quick as possible. Carpets, you name it, because mold starts to grow. It's a nightmare. And so having this thing on standby, and I think it's a 1/4 horsepower amp blower. It's not very big, but you can put it under the carpet. You can put it against the baseboards. You can put it under the house. You can do whatever you need to blow and dry out wood, stucco, baseboards, drywall, carpet. This thing is amazing. I cannot tell you how many. I've had far too many floods in my properties. And the best thing that I can do is get out there and get these fans on it. And I just have one. I mean, two would be nice, but get some fans on it and get it drying out and get that whole process started so that you can quickly rebuild. The longer it sits, the more trouble you're in for. And if it's on a weekend, you're going to have to call a restoration place, and they rent these fans at like $75 an hour. So it's going to be very expensive. These are about $100 at Home Depot's where I got mine. You can get them online at other places, and they will just run forever. It's been a lifesaver. It's been absolutely amazing. They have some plugs on them. You can use them for extension cords. You can daisy chain them. But this puppy has, again, anytime there's any kind of water damage, it's been very nice to have. I just grab it and run out to the property and get things lifted, get things aired out, get things dried out as quickly as possible, and that way I'm not having to worry about things like mold or smells or things like that. So speaking of smells, this is a weird one. I didn't have one of these until about a year or so ago, and it has been amazing. With people smoke in your property, if you have had a fire in your property, if you've had water damage in your property, or you just had funky short-term renters that have a smell, whether it's too much cologne or it's just, just a smell that they stay a while. The ozone is a miracle. So I used to use the spray bottles and go in there and just spray it, and it worked well, but it's expensive. And so I was going through $3 to $5 spray bottles of ozone, and I was like, there has to be a better way. So on an Airbnb forum, they're like, you just have to get an ozone generator. I'm like, an ozone generator. And boy, were they right. I had a fire some time ago at one of the properties, and it was underneath the property, and it smelled so bad. It got into the carpet, it got into the walls, it got into everywhere. And I let this ozone generator, I moved it around the house, but I let it run for a week. Zero smell. No smoke, no water smell from, no weird odor, nothing. I let this thing just run for a week in the property, and it killed everything. It killed any smells. It killed any odor. And the ozone technology, you have to look into it. But it actually has a way of actually getting in at the molecular level and dealing with some mold things or some things that are just not good. It's been a lifesaver. We've had people that come and they love the cologne. They'll stay at one of our properties for a month, and this thing will neutralize that smell in the place for within an hour or two, versus waiting weeks and trying to figure out what's going on. Even if you change the sheets, you just can't get rid of those kind of smells. Or properties that have had water damage and they've got a mildewy smell. This will take care of it, and it'll do some active cleansing, to boot as well. So this is by far the most important thing that you could use or get as a landlord or a property management, whatever, or Airbnb, VRBO host. This is gold, and literally, it's not that heavy, but it is worth its weight in gold. The fire I was talking about, if that had, I would have had to pull out the walls and insulation and replace the carpet. Not that it burned, it's just that smoky smell gets into everything and it destroys everything. The furniture, didn't have to worry about any of that. And so this thing's kind of pricey. I mean, they've got cheaper ones. This one will do a 2,500 square foot property, but $279 on Amazon right now. I'm guessing that's going to change at some point. That was cheap than replacing all the furniture and repaint the walls and the flooring and all of this other stuff that I thought I was going to have to deal with. Didn't have to deal with it. There's not a smell at all in there. And again, we use this when we turn properties that may have somebody who's got strong cologne smells, may have smoked. Now that marijuana is legal in Arizona, we're having a lot of people that are smoking in the houses, even though they're not supposed to. And that leaves a long smell. This wipes it out within a couple of hours. So I'm impressed. Those as a landlord experience. Now there's probably hundreds of other tools that are probably important, but to turn these things quickly, keep these properties rented, these things have been phenomenal and are my top 3 favorite items as a landlord. And I would recommend, if you have more than one property, have them on standby, because otherwise you're going to pay. You're going to pay big time to have somebody else bring these kind of tools out and save you, and especially if you have to start tearing into walls and those kind of things. So anyway, just some cool stuff. Again, no sponsorships here. Nobody's paying me to say this. This is just really cool experience here that I've learned through the years, and I've learned the hard way. By paying those expensive fees. So anyway, hopefully this brought you value. And if you want to go out and be a landlord or an Airbnb host or a VRBO host or a short-time rental host, get these tools. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for staying tuned to the end. And please subscribe if you can. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.